Lord, I'll be glad when things get back to normal. If they ever do get back.
If they ever do.
Wow.
I think
Yeah.
this is
Oh, yeah.
the new normal, that's what everybody's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
4 months or 4 years.
Mhm.
yeah. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning.
Morning, Jackie.
Okay. We looked over the agendas or any additions or deletions to the agenda. There being none, okay. We need the approval of minutes. Everybody get a chance to look the minutes over?
Yep.
Okay,
I'll make-
Go ahead, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
okay. The minutes will stand as read. Financial report, number one, fund balance.
Our beginning cash balance is $649,844.69. Our June MTF money was down a little as we've discussed. And then we had our 10,000 engineering money come in. And then we had a deposit, nothing abnormal. And total deposits was $573,144.97. Charges, obviously very normal. And total charges are $155,865.52. Ending cash balance is $1,067,124.14.
Okay. Tim? Now we'll go with pay, accounts payable. See what we got there. Any questions on that?
I think, Kim, what's the first one, AYD?
Those are, that is for, supplies,
Okay.
yes.
I did- I
Like
just-
first aid supplies.
Oh, okay, I just didn't recognize it.
Yeah.
And then, is the grader parts, all the graders, or one particular one?
No, all.
Okay.
One, I will say one bill was like $1,000 for one of the graders.
Yeah, I was just kinda tracking because of the, we put some into another one, quite a little bit into another one. I just was seeing if it's the same one, so
I
No.
don't believe it's the same one we have been working on.
we're talking about replacing one, so I'm just.
Mhm.
I think the one that's getting replaced is old, I think Gertie they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna keep the other one and get rid of that one.
The other one should be like new once it gets repaired,
Yeah.
shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah, that's all I had. I just
The
need to-
smashed one.
the greater parts, your Michigan cat,
Uh,
is that the one that got hit or?
Nope,
No.
it's the same thing. Those are just parts. We have to realize that we stopped doing that buyback.
Yeah.
And so our graders are just getting old and they just need fixing.
Yeah,
So,
so that's just a norm, okay.
same thing, yeah. And they're obviously the parts aren't cheap as the equipment isn't cheap.
Mhm. I have no questions.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Support,
Support.
okay, pay the bill.
Hey, Kim, on this, on all our packets here, are you forwarding these to Max and Mr. Coker?
I have not been,
You'd
if you would like me to.
I would like you to, if it's all right with them.
That's all right with me, because I don't want to be on the board and not be up to
Exactly, so
date.
there's.
That's why I'm sitting here. I don't want to just come walking in
Coming
here.
in, that's good.
Give them guys a little,
Heads up.
Okay.
yeah,
Right, there you
Can I
go, thank
just
you.
get one piece of clarification?
yeah.
If there's something confidential, are you okay that I do not send that? Just
Yes.
because they're
Oh, yeah.
legally not sworn in, are you okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's fine.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely can do that.
Just use your good judgment. Right. Public comment, yes?
I would like to know who are the couple of people on commission, the Clare County Commissioner. Didn't a couple of you join
I
You were
was
appointed.
I was appointed in February,
Okay.
and then
And you're
Bill Simpson.
Bill Simpson, okay.
Me.
In there,
No. I was
Okay,
appointed
you came
at the
from
same
Clare County, the board, right?
Correct, the board
Okay.
appointed me and Bill.
And who are you?
I'm Max Shunk. I got elected in the last 2 year, for the 2 year election. For the road
Road
commission.
Commission.
so you understand
Okay.
that we went from 3-person board to a 5-person.
Right, right.
So
Well, this is
when-
the first time we've been here in a long time.
Yeah,
And, is it Dave Sunday or Dave Sunday retired? And it's Dave Bondi, I think?
yeah, Dave Bundy is superintendent.
Okay. Yesterday, some of our residents that own backlot property on Allendale that butts up to the pipeline and other property, well, a forester or logger was asking for who owns these empty lots because they want to find a better way to come in to log. So they want to come across somebody's property, hop on Allendale, and then go on Huckleberry Trail. We had an incident where loggers we ran across it by accident. They had just started that day, and they made an absolute mess by the south end where the cattails are and the dam. And we ended up calling the police.
Oh, did
Dave
you?
Bondi come out, the forester was there. There was, I don't know, 6, 7 people there. And I went back home and we kept referring to this strip as an easement. And the property owner that's way on Maple Grove or Lydell that it backs up to, said, well, we did this before. Yes, they logged out of there before and they ruined our road and nothing was ever done about it. And this is many years ago.
Yeah.
So this time, we caught him in the act, and actually, when I went and got the deeds from Alan, that Alan Reese gave me on the strip of property that we own it. So it's private, and they cannot cross that
Yeah.
without trespassing.
Right.
Well, that was a mess. They were supposed to come out and see, and they never did. Dave Bondi was out and said, well, there wasn't that much damage, because he told them he would go after them if there was any road damage. Well, we had pictures, and there was more road damage than, we weren't being nitpicky, but it's like, we have struggled with this road. And
What is it you want from us?
we
A
want
load limit restriction.
You want, on what?
a sign on coming into our lake on East and West Huckleberry Trail.
Huckleberry Trail.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I had talked to Dave Bondi. He had sent an email that Steve Byers has, and this was way back after all this happened, the end of April, and they were out and inspected the dam. We have our dam inspected once every 3 years because it's a high-risk dam. And Lapham's had just done it a couple years before. And your new engineer or manager here,
Dwayne.
pardon me?
Dwayne.
Oh, Dwayne, okay. I don't know.
Wayne Rogers.
Okay, that's you, okay. Was working with Spicers, and they went through this whole thing about they have to figure out with the dam, what load limit that, could be. But then Dave Bundy said that he's yelling at the truck driver and the forester. These subdivision roads aren't built for all these
Well,
logging
no,
trucks.
no, we know that.
And, well, yeah, but our roads have been trashed again. I mean, that's just a little piece.
Can you
What's
remind me
that?
your subdivision?
A story like,
Right.
yeah.
Is that a piece of the blacktop or something?
Yeah, that's a typical thickness of our road.
Mhm.
It's not made for these
No,
trucks.
no.
Dam or not, what we wanted, we didn't need a dam inspection. What we need is a road restriction. In driving around,
Wait,
there's load restrictions on a lot of these county roads around here. If you go into Five Lakes, their entrance has a load restriction.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
go on Grant Road, there's a load restriction.
We don't
That's
do
a
those.
town, that's a township ordinance.
Yeah, that's township ordinance.
And we did the dam inspection because you guys actually requested that.
No, we did not request a dam inspection.
Okay.
We
Well, I'm
need,
not just gonna do a
we
dam
need the
inspection for
road.
fun.
we need the road restricted.
That's a
we
town.
didn't
That's a town, you
know.
go to your township and
Have you guys went
just
to the
like,
township at all?
just like Grant Township did, and they,
They did, yeah.
It
That's
starts
where
at the township
township
because it's a
meeting.
local road.
Huckleberry Trail is a county road.
Well, they're all county roads, but they're
Yeah.
also local roads. There's a difference between local and primary.
and their subdivision roads.
To get a restriction, I think you gotta start at the township, is that correct?
Mhm.
And then they come to you.
Yeah, they can,
They can do it on their own,
They-
can't
they
they? They can
can.
do it on their
Grant
own.
Township done it on their own.
Mhm.
they passed an ordinance.
See, okay, we were after a load limit sign to stop these loggers from coming in and, you know, God knows what would have happened if he drove over, because Dave Bundy, the truck was pointing toward the dam and he said,
Do you-
you can't drive that over the dam,
Do you have
know.
any pictures of this damage?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
on my
Can I
phone.
see it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of
I
the-
mean, you know, at the end of the day, everybody has a right, an inherent right to the roads. So when you get out in there on that limb and say, okay, well, we don't want loggers, and the next thing you know, well, we don't want anything with tandem axles, we don't want fireworks, we don't want oil and gas, it just never ends. So what
It's
is,
strictly the logging, the
So we're just
logging
gonna-
trucks that,
the logging.
that way.
Right, the problem is
Yes.
when you take a tandem 80-ton truck across that inch and a half of blacktop, it destroys it.
Well, sure it does.
And what we were told was if there was any damage, it would be fixed at the cost of the logger.
correct?
Nothing has been done.
And you're saying it was damaged?
It is damaged. In fact, there are people that came back, some of the snowbirds that came back,
Mhm.
and they noticed it. And they hadn't been told that the truckers had been in there, and they said, what happened to the road? There's large indentations.
So do we have pictures at all? Dwayne, did we get any pictures? Does Dave have any pictures?
Dave
I'm not
Bundy
sure.
should have them. because
So
I
can
sent
we
them.
build a logging
Just go
company? That's
this.
what we normally do.
I think you gotta
They
bond
never,
them,
yeah,
don't you?
they never came back out
Bond them and then,
to put the
The
seed.
problem we
and
have
stuff.
right now,
This
today,
was over
immediate
by-
need, is there's, on Allendale,
You'll get to.
which comes
Where's this
into
big logging
Huckleberry,
truck with
and then that
trucks?
takes you out to
And
Pleasant.
Okay, yeah. you start
Another
seeing
logger, or it
cracks
could
and-
possibly be the same logger,
It's the edge.
wants to
Okay.
access
The edge
a different
leads to
woods.
other things.
It does back up to Maple Grove. They could
Right,
go out onto
yep,
Maple Grove.
yep.
That property owner owns out to Maple Grove.
can I see them?
They just
Yes,
don't wanna
have some
bother
down
putting
or-
their
Yeah.
own
Yeah,
path across there. That needs to be stopped today,
Oh, there's-
because
I don't
otherwise
have
tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the morning, who knows, there could be another logging
Here,
truck
sure.
pulled in there, and we'll be standing in the rain all day again, with 3 sheriffs and one of your county guys out there.
mhm.
It needs to be addressed.
So there is weight limits, that these trucks have to comply with, and you're saying 80 ton in a tandem, which.
Well,
is
whatever
way
one
over.
weighs. One of the things that the logger did make a comment that day, he said, I was out here 2 weeks ago and looked at this area. And he said, there's no load limit sign coming in to Huckleberry. So he assumed that he could drive his
Yeah, I can understand.
large
this.
tandem
Yeah.
truck on there because there wasn't a sign. We need a sign out there.
It's a pretty
Dwayne,
complicated process. that
We do
Grant
have
Township
some
went through.
responsibility there. I mean, we can't put it all on just the township. We do have, as a road commission, we do have some responsibility as far as signing goes or something. Don't you think?
You say there's another access to this logging?
There is on Maple Grove, yes. That property owner owns,
Don't you think?
actually,
Yeah, because that's.
the one that we
that's
dealt with in the
damage.
spring and the
But
one
it's-
that's looking at today, they do own out to Maple Grove.
Was this during frost laws or recent?
This was right
It
after
was
frost
right
laws.
a- Right
After frost laws.
after.
Okay, so they were in
April
compliance,
30th.
other than possibly overweight, but, so the weight restriction sign wouldn't have been required at the point the damage was done, is that correct?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Load limit signs,
For.
they need to be
for,
year round. This
Well,
sign needs to be a
Yeah,
year round
like I
sign.
say, we gotta get together with the township,
The township has to
Number
start that
one.
process.
yeah.
Okay.
Grant
Are
Township.
they aware of any of it, the
No.
township board?
We assume that it's a county road, that it's a county road.
Oh,
So they
well,
haven't, they're not, so if we,
Who's the logger?
Who's the
Clark?
lawyer?
Who's the logger?
The logger,
Clark,
Was he in this email? I think I got his card. I think I took,
well, first
Clare
they need
logging,
to pay
I
for the
think.
damage.
yeah, I don't know. You said you wouldn't have inspected the dam just because. We didn't know you had to have a dam inspection to do a load limit sign, because we care about the dam, but we wanted the load limit, not just for the dam. We wanted it for coming into our lake to stop this. Because the private roads and stuff, we're stuck fixing, you know.
yeah,
You do the county, and we know you guys are swamped, and money is an issue and stuff. So we're trying to protect this and stop this.
I think you need to look at it a couple ways. One is it wasn't during frost laws, so there was no violation at that particular point. And then B, to our knowledge, unless the weight enforcer would have been involved, he did not violate any weight restrictions that are currently in place.
because there's no restriction.
what,
Right.
we're here
Right.
today to
Right.
get that restriction. It's Kevin Clare logging.
Okay, out of Rosebush.
This is Crawford Road, Mount Pleasant.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking of McNeil, yeah.
Yeah.
But now I don't know if that's the one that approached the person yesterday. Could be a different logger, who knows?
Yeah, yeah,
This is the one that happened in April.
in April.
In April, end of April.
Do you know, Dwayne, the process for them to start to get a sign put up through the township? You know, they gotta start there. What's it gonna take to get
Then
a,
it'd be like Grant, where
right, I
the
know.
township enforces it, not
Right.
us.
I don't wanna see a weight restriction either, but I don't wanna see a subdivision road tore all up either. You know?
And we're not talking the concrete trucks, we're not talking about stopping people from building and,
Well, no,
and
no,
stuff
because
and
they gotta do it,
deliveries,
they
and
gotta-
it's just the.
we have the same thing over at Five Lakes, same
Yeah.
thing. The township, that's a township ordinance,
Okay,
and the whole township, you know.
okay.
They put up
How do
their
you-
own
How do you
signs and-
restrict one?
You can't.
You can't.
Well, let's
That's
just
it's
you
a
can't.
gray.
have a discussion with this logger, maybe we can come to a reasonable agreement if he's got another excess.
Well, the reason why he was trying to do what he did on the south end by the swamp and dam, because there's a swamp in the middle of the property, because he could have went out the other way. Well, just because he's got a swamp in the middle of the property, that's not build another road around it or something.
There are roads back there.
But we've always had an agreement with these loggers, when they would take care of the road, they'd
Right.
get it bladed, they'd take care of it. So they haven't touched that at all?
No.
Well, no, Dave Bondi thought, it was minimal, and that he seen some damage, cause he came
Yeah.
out, cause I did send him pictures, but that was the end of it, and I told them they were supposed to come back and grass seed, and they didn't. Well, we're not
No.
that's fine, the weeds grew, it's green, it's getting cut.
Okay, so where do we go from here? We
Yeah.
can talk about this all week. So the best thing to do, the avenue to pursue is the township level, and
And they will have to do an ordinance?
I think so, is that
Yeah,
right, Dwayne?
they do.
But then you're opening up that can of worms, so how do you differentiate between, okay, we don't want loggers in here, but it's okay to have a cement truck that weighs 60,000 pounds, but we don't want loggers. Or we don't want anybody hauling stock to the stockyards, but, you know, how do you differentiate that?
Well,
can't.
that's where the road commission, you guys would know what kind of trucks weigh what and after the load limit signs.
Sir, it's not logging.
Pardon me?
It's not that they're logging. It's that the equipment for the purpose that they're using is so heavy.
I see, yeah.
Part of the law.
They could be running beehives back there. I wouldn't care. It's not logging. That's necessarily the issue. The issue is the equipment that they use for what they're doing is so heavy, it's destroying the roads. If you say we can't do this, we can't do anything about it for one reason or another, then that means the being County Road Commission, doesn't that lay responsibility for repairing the roads onto you? Do you want that?
No.
No, we don't do
Yeah,
that.
we do have some responsibility there, yes, I think so.
But not from a road restriction standpoint, other than during frost laws.
It's a public road, that's the issue, right?
Yep.
And that logging truck is plated, and it's a legal load for the state of Michigan, for the road, or for the county. It's a legal load, so
But they're still ultimately responsible for that damage, so.
Yeah,
That's a fine line though. I
Mhm.
Yes,
mean, they're
it is.
paying license plate
Right.
fees to, as a part of that process, to take care of that issue. They haven't broke any laws as it stands right now. The only option I see that you have is that the township needs to put in an ordinance to go through the process like Grant
Well,
Township did.
exactly what we said at the beginning.
Well, I'm
We
just
need to go to the
saying that,
township.
that's really your option.
But then the township would be the one.
They're liable.
They are liable to enforce it.
Yeah. And
But I think
and
that,
there's fines established with it and all of that.
I think you should go to their township meeting, and explain it to them, and see what they wanna do. Just that simple, that's what we did with Grant Township, and Grant Township said, well, we can't get any, if the road commission don't put up the signs, and you tell us that we're on our own to do it, well, they did it, and it's working out just fine, so the township is the main source right now. We can
Wow.
help you with the township.
Okay.
You know,
That'd be appreciated.
That'd be great.
information and.
Second Tuesday next month,
So, yeah, second Tuesday next month is the next meeting.
6 o'clock.
Yeah,
So what happens Monday morning at 5 o'clock when that logging truck rolls in?
Have you touched base with this logger? Have you, as a township,
They haven't contacted me yet.
anybody called you and say, hey, look, we're having an issue with these trucks in our subdivisions damaging the roads, and just reach out and find maybe a reasonable solution?
We didn't go to the township because it's a county road we came to.
Right,
I say, sure.
right.
Well,
I'm just
She
saying
was
that-
just at the township meeting.
Yeah,
Okay, if we'd have known it was a township issue, we'd have brought it
You
up
could
to
have
the
brought it up
township.
but
then.
for immediate relief, just in case that truck shows up, maybe somebody needs to touch base with this logger and say, look, we have concerns here, we don't want our roads tore up.
We don't know
Is there
who
an
it is yet,
alternative?
though.
Yeah.
We don't know who it is yet.
Okay.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
don't-
really, that's not totally their responsibility either. I think the road commission still plays an important part here.
You know, last time when we were out, they came in 5 o'clock in the morning. She happened to be around the lake at 8. We spent literally all day in the rain. It was raining that day.
Yeah,
Sheriff came out. Her sergeant and somebody else, another sheriff came out. So we had three
you
sheriffs.
did.
Three sheriffs. The
Waymaster, probably.
I'm not sure who
so
the
you had
other
three
third
sheriffs
one
out there. What
was.
violation was there?
The violation was, and that's another issue that we're trying to take care of. There is a property
Private.
that's private
Yeah.
that when Reese built the sub, he purposely, because we talked to Alan Reese in 2006 when this happened. The grandfather purposely put a strip of property across there to permit, or to stop anybody from crossing into the sub off from the property behind that he couldn't purchase at the time. they crossed that property, the sheriff wouldn't do anything.
But did-
They were parked out there all day with a tractor trailer, illegally, in front of a no parking sign. And the sheriff wouldn't do anything. No tickets, anything.
Well,
The only thing he did was say,
huh?
you can't go over the dam.
That one, probably the-
Both of them, him and Dave both said, you can't drive over this dam. And they made him back down the center of the road to Allendale and then turn around to go back out,
Yeah,
so.
Is there a restriction on the dam, a weight restriction that it can handle any weight that axles allow legally in Michigan? is what I'm
it's
saying.
legal weight. As long as they're legal weight.
Yeah,
But you gotta remember, that dam is that much blacktop.
right, over top of the dam, right?
I would try
The
to,
asphalt doesn't do anything
Yeah, for-
structurally for the dam.
yeah,
Exactly.
for a solution, just in case, I'd try to reach out to him and see if you could come to an agreement. You know, because this isn't gonna happen overnight to involve your township. But most of them are reasonable people. You know, we've worked with a lot of loggers
Yes.
that we've allowed them to do this at certain times and stuff like that, you know, and they've all been reasonable. I think maybe I would open a dialogue with this logger and see if there's a solution. You know,
We
This
just
would
talked
be
about
the
this,
first- right.
yeah.
That would be the best.
That would
Yeah,
be the
to begin
first-
there at
start
least
there and
before.
then if it doesn't work out, you go, you know, you move on. Go to
We
your
are-
township.
We'd appreciate,
Yeah.
Well, you can have, we
Coming
can
into the
expect them, we
township,
can
right?
help
okay.
with a lot of it, answering questions and so on, with the logger or whatever.
Because I also talked to Carl Parks, the drain commissioner, and he was livid, just, you know, that no way should they have been, it should be no big deal getting a load restriction out, but I guess it is, so.
Yeah.
There's more to it than what people think.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's a little more complicated.
And that's what we come here for,
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
direction,
there's a
so,
lot to it, so we can,
yeah.
like, I think the road commission, naturally, we have to work with you, to give you some answers and to understand what's going on.
Well, coming to the township meeting would be
That would help.
appreciated, yeah.
I'm sure, Dave and Dwayne would talk to the logger too, if you referred him, you know, if he had any questions, we can answer any questions, but see if you can work on an agreement.
Because Dave Bondi was upset that day, he said these subdivision roads are not built to handle
Well,
roads.
naturally,
A lot of them aren't built to Class A, but they're still public roads. You know, we got a lot of roads that ain't Class A.
Which we have private property, which
Yeah.
makes that whole lake
Yeah.
private,
But that's why
that they can't cross, and they do, so. Okay,
but I think the
Thank
first
you.
step is to
Thank
get
you.
some communications with the logger, yeah.
Steve, you got
Is there
anything
anything?
else?
Yes, sir, are you next, you're next?
Well, it was about the same.
You guys are
Oh,
together?
yeah.
Dave,
Nope, I'm good.
just,
I got-
you're, so
hang on.
listen, okay?
I had one citizen call me on, she requested or asked about a four-way stop on the corner of Surrey and Old State.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what the procedure is there, if there's been a lot of accidents. I know it's a busy corner.
Well,
So-
that's,
There is a four-way stop at Surrey.
No.
there isn't.
No,
There's
it's
two.
Surrey's.
No.
He
That's
goes
the
through
Just
light.
on Old
Yeah.
State.
Yeah, you got a blinker light there.
Well,
And I-
one
you
time
know,
they put a four-way stop in and then.
Yeah, and they
still-
changed it.
And then you changed it back because we had several accidents after the four-way stop.
Yeah. It
But they got a
confuses
nice
people.
light there,
Mhm.
good
Yeah, they
caution
do.
light, but it is a stop, east and
north,
west.
right,
Or, no,
north and south.
North and south,
North and south.
north and south.
So I didn't know how many accidents there was there. I just passing a message
Quite a
on.
few.
We have to-
And we can get with, Kleinhardt has been very involved in this over the last 30 years.
Has-
Yeah.
yeah.
There's been traffic studies and accident printouts, so he could give you all the data and the justification of why.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that is a bad corner. It's
It
right
is,
at the,
it
right
is.
at the bottom of the hill.
It
Well,
is,
it is. And-
I didn't notice it until yesterday when I came from the west
yeah.
going east.
Mhm.
That blinker light is right at the ground level.
Mhm.
Get up, you don't even see the corner until
Yeah.
you get up there. But anyway, that's
It's been
just all
that
part
way,
of it.
Max, you know, it's been that way. There's been
Yeah.
studies taken, there's been, Jack has worked hard on that because it's a dangerous corner.
Right.
We added rumble strips and everything else.
I think the first, wasn't it within the first week that they put up that light,
We had an accident.
there was an accident. The first week we put the light up.
Yep.
So,
I know that was a safety study and a
Yes.
project that was funded with federal money, if
Yes.
I'm not
Was it?
mistaken.
Okay.
When I first started here with.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a federal.
FAA.
I thought it was a legitimate question, and
Yeah.
Oh,
which
yes,
is, which
there
is
is a
right.
legitimate question, and you're here to, appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on. Is there anybody else for public comment? Okay, thank you.
Anybody online?
Anybody online for public comment?
I don't see anything.
No.
Okay.
I don't see anything. Okay, let's go on to old and continuing business. Number 1, bridge report, Moss Stetler.
Same as last.
Ongoing.
Yep,
Does it seem to be going okay?
just waiting to hear
Just waiting.
for,
Contractor or what?
no, the grant. That was
Oh,
the
that grant,
application.
okay, yeah, okay. We haven't heard back on that, huh?
Nope.
Alright. Number 2, project update, billings.
Yep, I included a, copy of an email that you guys have in your,
Yeah.
folders.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 townships I've billed so far.
1,
The
2, 3, 4.
third column is, what I billed the township, 4th column is what CCRC.
That's our bills, yeah.
Yes, so just note though, that Sheridan Township and Franklin Township
Yeah,
were old. They're not the new way that, Dwayne has the 50/50
Well,
portion.
we had an agreement with a different.
Yes,
split.
older contracts.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
honored that, yeah.
Obviously, you can kind of see that
Yeah.
number
So
1
we
and
just
number
went- we
4
just
are
honored
working.
that.
Yeah, it's working.
Good.
So, Dwayne had asked me to look up Adams, but I didn't get a chance to touch base with him yesterday about billing Adams, so he did want me to bill Adams, but I have more communication that I'd like to
I
talk to him
see.
about on that.
so that's,
He
Okay.
would like me to bill it, but I
Yeah.
wanna talk with him some more about it first.
alright,
Yeah.
alright. So then you got your total, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so just so you're aware of where I'm at with all those.
Yep, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Number 4, mirrors, options. We talked about that
Yep.
last meeting.
I don't have any more information
Don't
that
you?
I'm aware of. I think they're still working on it. Same?
Yeah, we've contacted, MERS, and they have to do, Donna filled out a form,
Yeah,
and then there's a process, they have to go through a study, and then,
oh yeah, it's gonna take some
so
time.
we're in the process of getting things implemented.
One question I'd have about the change there, and I agree with that, but why, if essentially we're going to a 401K for the new employees, right?
Correct.
So why would we have MERS administer that when we could, they're charging 2%?
Yeah, well, we looked at other, like, what was it?
Edward Jones.
Edward Jones.
Yeah,
And there's a setup fee, and they have an administration fee. I think MERS is actually lower on that end. You know what I mean? Because they're more geared for the public.
Right, right.
well, the problem.
Other than a
Like a
private firm that's gonna get their profit and cuts out of it. So I just thought it would be easier to work with them since we already
And
have the state.
there's
I
some
agree with that.
validity there, I agree with that in a sense, but what my concern is, these youngsters coming in, and we have to attract youngsters. If you're pickpocketing them for 2% off their retirement every year, that's very excessive. If you went to Fidelity or Charles Schwab or something, you never get 2%. I would refuse to pay that myself.
It's a lot of money.
It's essentially skimming off the top. So there's a lot better methodologies for these people to protect their investments. 2% is very excessive.
Yeah.
No, but that fee goes against us, right? We pay the fee,
The administrative fees?
yeah.
We pay those.
Yeah.
Okay, but I was reading that book the other day, and $0 to $50,000, if a young man had, or a woman had a, $50,000, 45,000 in their 401k, we would pay an administrative fee of 2% a year. Somebody, Kim, us, we, whoever, how you're gonna split that, I don't know. Alls I'm saying, there's other places out there that are a half a percent.
It could be.
Is that
Can
per
they
account?
offer
So we can check back on it?
401k
Yeah, we do
No,
have some.
theirs would be
quotes on that.
401k.
Trying to
You guys looking at
Because
Vanguard at
as
all?
public employees, can we administer a 401k
um,
or a public employer?
Not to my knowledge.
We
can.
gotta have an A.
It's an A, not a K.
Right.
We cannot have a K, it has to be
But I
an
mean,
A.
even if, like
Yeah.
Tim said, if we went to Edward Jones, could we administer a 401k?
Well,
It's
we
gotta
don't-
be an A.
We don't wanna, we don't wanna administer it, we need to hire somebody to manage. All
Well, yeah,
I'm saying
well, that's
is 2%
exactly right.
excessive,
Right.
it needs to be 0.05%.
Donna, do you know?
I know when we went to,
I don't know.
when we went to the 457, we had to do that because we were a public employer.
Yeah.
So we couldn't go out,
Right,
outsource it. So that was
into the
one of the
private
things that,
sector.
they wouldn't let us go there.
No, you couldn't do it if we
Yeah.
wanted.
That's my concern, so.
I can look at that.
Yeah.
Nothing's
Okay.
official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That way we could go to something different if they allow us to do that.
And then,
Right.
my other concern is, which has always been my concern, is try to find anything out from MERS is like shooting a dart.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you don't know where it's gonna land, you can't get the information, whereas if, in my retirement account, and every night I can look at it in real time and I know exactly what's happening.
They can do the same. So something that a lot of people aren't using, and I think we're getting better with education on that, is there's a My MERS account. And every one of us can log into that. So they can do that, and they're live. And they can move their money if they choose to. Say I don't choose to, and I say I want it to be high risk, I
Yeah.
can move it to high risk and let everyone else mess with it.
Well, you can
If-
do it.
Yeah, you can get on your
each
My MERS
individual
account
can-
and look it up.
And if
can do
I
it.
don't wanna mess with it, I
I
just
see.
tell them to do it. If I wanna mess with it, I can move dollars into wherever I want them.
So in other
That's not
words,
my
it's the
forte.
employee's
It's an employee's choice.
choice.
Yes,
Okay.
and I think more of them are
Simplified.
moving that way.
Yes.
Donna, correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
we're setting the employees up online.
Okay,
I am,
Yeah.
I'm retired.
But I understand what you're saying, Tim.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, it's-
questions are hard, and you're very
It's like,
accurate.
well, it's like
no,
the obligation that taxpayers have for the retirement for our employees. We should be able to log on an account and see in real time every day what that number is. I defy anybody to find that number.
you can't.
And talk to MERS, well, no, you can't do it, it's
Understood.
ridiculous.
I would say that you are accurate about that.
Yeah,
And
it's-
another thing, there's not, all of our employees are not transferring over there. You're only gonna take care of a handful of employees, new hires.
Yeah.
There's a year to add up that account to get a discount to be cheaper, so by sticking with MERS, that's why we got the lower cost,
Right.
because they're already taking care of the rest of the employees.
Yeah, and you've been to several meetings with Morris.
Since I've been employed here every
Yeah,
year, with the
so
exception
you've always
of.
kept up with that, yeah.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay, let's move on. New business? Have we got any new business? Do we? Nothing there? Okay, correspondences?
I don't have anything.
Do you have nothing at all then? All right. Let's go with some staff reports. I'll start with Commissioner.
I'm not staff, but
I have
You got Wayne and Kim.
We'll go down to the Commissioner reports right now.
I have nothing.
I'm good today, Dick.
Okay? You have anything?
the only thing I'd have, just a couple little things, is one is that point view we talked about last time.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an ongoing thing? What's going on out there? Well, a homeowner called me, the water runs off the road and flooded their house.
Who is this?
We talked to the homeowner, we have a plan.
Okay.
Waiting materials, should be here by Labor Day.
What
So
materials?
some-
What materials?
I ordered, it's called slotted drain, So it's gonna be a 12-inch pipe with a slot on top. It'll run through their driveway.
Oh, just that drive?
Yeah. And then we're gonna put a catch basin in and then, like 60 feet of curb to catch all the water coming down the hill, go to the spillway, catch basin,
To the lake?
to the lake. We have a plan,
Okay, good.
but everything's ordered, so it should be in
That's all
soon
I have.
after Labor Day.
Okay,
Thank you.
do you have anything?
I'd just like to once again offer our condolences to Forrest Meyer's family. We lost a commissioner last week, passed away. In that I've
Can
been
you
to,
give us before that?
Yeah. Babe was a commissioner, I don't know for how many years, but he was there when I
A couple
started.
terms, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, I've been to a couple meetings, Sheridan, Hatton, and things were going good.
Good. I'm glad you're out there. That's good. Yeah. You- Okay, then, I don't have anything, so now I wanna go to Dwayne. Staff report.
Yeah, we have a lot going on. You guys are doing great. We did some bridge maintenance on Eberhart. Fixed up the bridge deck, and then the bridge approaches were really bad, failing. So we ripped them out, put new ones in. Hour after that, somebody drove through the wet concrete, so it's on news, 4 and 7 actually, and so.
And
Yeah, they don't know who did it
So far,
either.
they don't have any.
No.
No.
So the guys took that out and replaced it yesterday. Today they're on Brand Road doing some bridge maintenance there. We have Adams Road project going. We almost have 1 mile of the 2 miles done. Getting close,
I
ready
see
for
them still
gravel.
out there early this morning, that's good.
Should be, and then Ridge Road in Frost Township is ready for gravel. We're waiting on Arden. He should have gravel by next week, sounds like. Long Lake and Summerfield is ready for gravel. That's scheduled for next week from Fisher. We're gonna gravel in Freeman Township next week with Fisher. That's scheduled.
Well, you got getting pretty well caught up then on.
No.
Still got
A lot of
We got
activity.
trees getting cut on Willow and Granite Township. We'll have trees getting cut in Arthur Township on 80 and Asher.
Oh,
I met with Sheridan Township last week. They approved a 50-50 split to work on Brand Road, 2 miles of Brand Road.
50-50. Yeah.
Yep, so right in front of Packard Farms. We're
Yeah.
gonna
Good.
do that work.
Yeah.
It's looking nice, all right. It's looking better
Is it?
already.
Is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
That's-
I mean, it needed a lot of work.
We're gonna replace that culvert there in front of Packard's.
Good.
They agreed to that, so we're getting a DEQ permit for that. Al got approval, from DEQ for Lake Station culvert. So,
Lake Station culvert.
yep, south
Station Avenue?
of 115.
Oh, yeah.
There's a culvert there, that old wood 4x4 box culvert that's,
Yeah.
Sagan.
yeah, the roads keep sinking
Sure.
in, so we're replacing that. Al's got that on order. We're still waiting on DEQ for Cedar, which should be any time. Vandekar Road in Farwell, that's gonna get let first Friday of October.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
Construction starts when?
Well, I
Next-
left it open-ended.
Depending on.
They can start, I left it to where they can start 10 days after award, so it could possibly start by the end of October. But we want the road open prior to winter shutdown.
Yeah.
So if they wanna come in, install, the box culvert and then temporarily fill it in for the winter, I'm gonna allow that.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I'd like as much to get done as possible, but if they don't wanna start till April, that's fine too.
That's good, yeah.
That's gonna be up to the
But that's an
contractor.
option. Yeah.
So I left it open-ended on that, because sometimes people need work to
Yeah.
fill out the fall, and maybe we'll get a good price if they want some work to do.
Might be a good winter too.
Right.
You know.
Clearance, trees are cut, stumps are removed, we're gonna start going heavy on Clarence Road in, Greenwood, and Keene Road, We're gonna start working on that next week in Winterfield. So we
What
have a
the-
lot of work still to do.
Oh, I guess so.
But the guys are, I still have faith that I think we can pull this off.
Well, you've been lucky this year, you hadn't had much
You've had
rain.
good weather.
How long, is Eberhard still closed?
Eberhard will be closed probably until Monday.
Okay. I had somebody
Do we
ask
have
me
like armed guards down there now to not move?
We took a new approach to closing the road, let's say that.
that. You got some
So,
game cameras you can borrow.
We might have
Yeah,
to set
really.
up a game camera or two around.
the guys are doing great, things are going
Good.
well.
General maintenance is pretty good. The Customer service.
Yep,
How-
we're just
How's
keeping
the
up.
complaints? We getting any complaints in to speak of?
They're just, I think, in my opinion, I think they've dropped.
Or I wouldn't say complaints, I'd say
Phone system.
requests.
Phone system still
It's
working
more-
good?
Mhm, yep.
Is that phone, I had a person call me anyway, I got it wrote down here, but anyway, I'll give it to someone before we get done. But when someone, does that just call and goes on a recording?
No,
Is that
well,
the
they
tel-
can leave a message if
Okay.
we're not available, but
Okay.
if we answer the telephones, it's
You
myself or
guys just write
Donna.
it down.
And we just enter it right into the computer system, and
Okay.
it logs that complaint,
Okay,
and we send it to the north or the south end foreman.
okay.
And
That's
then,
all new too, Max.
Well,
We just
good,
got
I mean,
that
that's,
place,
you know,
and then
someone
they
called me
close
and
it out.
it's
It
not
works-
really a
it
complaint,
works
it's just
great.
a
Yeah.
concerned person, you know?
Well, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I ain't gonna make a
Yeah.
big issue out of anything, but.
yeah, and you
But-
can call and let us
It's all new, it
know.
works good.
Yeah,
Good.
you can call and let us know what the issues are,
All right,
and we'll log
okay.
them, and if it's not a service request type of issue, we'll forward on to whomever handles
Right,
it.
well, and then that way there, someone's got
Well,
an
yeah, a lot
idea.
of times,
Right.
when I get a call for a service request or a complaint or whatever you wanna call it,
Mhm.
I always ask them, have you called the road commission? Well, no. Well, it says, if you would do that, please, and if you don't get an answer satisfactory within a day or two, call me back.
Mhm.
And that's a good way
Yeah,
to handle
we
it.
like to create the ticket so we have records.
So, yeah, right,
Otherwise
right.
you forget, I mean.
You forget,
know,
right, right.
Some
I
days
agree.
it's like, oh, I forgot that guy called, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Dave and Al are on ride-arounds today.
Are they?
They're
Oh,
with,
Townships?
first one, yep, Dennis Zimmerman,
Yeah?
Lincoln Township, so they're doing their first ride-around today.
Good.
Good.
They have two more tomorrow, I think, scheduled. So those are starting to roll in.
That'd be good.
So when do you go with their supervisor? That might be a time to,
You know,
Surrey, I don't know.
with Surrey.
Dave had a
That'd be a good
schedule.
time for
Yeah.
a ride-along for you guys to hit their
I
area.
think that's a great idea, I really do. I mean,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I talked to Bill Highland about that last night. He was gonna come in today, and I'll talk to Bruce tonight.
okay.
That way your supervisor can go with our foreman and,
so everyone's on the same page.
mhm.
Yep. Chip
Well,
seals are all
yes,
done.
pardon me?
The chip sealing is all done. We still have some overlay paving to do. Not sure what their schedule is, but, I mean, it's probably 3-4 days worth of work, so
Yeah,
still got lots of time on that.
so it's all coming together pretty decent, but still lots of work, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
we're rolling along, so.
Well, I haven't had too many service requests or complaints, so evidently they're
Stay quiet.
doing pretty good on the maintenance. Customer
Mhm.
service, yeah. That's good. Is there anything else?
That's it.
I will say this, we have had a lot of confusion of brining from the road commission to the townships, and a lot of, so as you're going to townships, and people are there, there's just a lot of confusion that the townships brine, the road commission does not. So I'm just really, I
Yeah,
don't understand how they are, still just don't understand that, because we've been doing it, I've been employed here
for
for
years.
10
yeah.
years, and they still don't know that, so. I
We
just-
did talk to Mid-Michigan Community College, Donna has been. Sounds like we might have an intern that's gonna do redesign our webpage.
Oh,
So,
mhm.
it's a computer student that
yeah,
knows a lot more than me on that. So.
Before we
Well,
get
that's good.
too far ahead, Dwayne, this new normal with this COVID thing, and the audio and video is pretty not too good on our Zooms.
No.
Can we update that, get some microphones and camera, so, you know, so people can look at this and understand what we're saying?
Yeah, because it isn't
It's
very
not very
good.
It's not.
No.
Not really, no.
Like when I can do my minutes for my notes,
Yeah.
but it's different.
Well, we're all in masks too, it's muffled.
Yeah.
No, it is.
Mhm.
So, and I'm sure it's not expensive, right? Just if
No.
you-
But it could
We
be.
need a clock though first too.
It
We're
could be.
on it, we're on it.
But as long as we'll be doing this for quite a while by the looks of things,
Since
Okay.
12:30
I'll look
for
into it.
years.
Thank you.
could be updated a little bit. Okay, is there anything else miscellaneous, anything else going?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, and number one is pending, MERS case, that's, discussed already.
No,
Mer-
no, we're not done there yet.
That's still pending, no?
No, we, after commissioner reports, we just need to reconvene and, our attorney is, your attorney,
We just gotta go into closed session, right? And he's gonna give us a,
we just need to invite the attorney in, but we're a little,
Yeah,
if he can come in, we'll scoot so he can fit in, and we just need to start when he comes in. He's
Okay.
out with Donna right for the
Oh.
moment.
okay, so that's
Are you
pending.
going
I
into
hope-
closed session?
I am not sure that
You'll tell
he's
him.
your attorney.
Okay, yeah.
he'll go.
I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if that was planned or not.
All right,
Get them?
Yeah.
we'll get it now.
Thanks for stopping in, folks.
Thank you. Thanks for the
Is
information.
this gonna be closed?
I am
We
not.
don't know,
not
dear.
sure.
We got an
Well,
attorney.
you could
The
stick
big thing is we can only have
around.
10 people in here, and the attorney makes 11.
We'll see what he says.
Yeah.
Because, that part I don't know.
Tom, I'll scoot. You can sit right here.
Okay, I don't need to sit down. Thank you.
Okay, you don't?
Well, we're only supposed to have 10 people in the room, so I
Okay,
don't want to
we're
break
leaving.
your...
Well,
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for coming in, we're gonna follow up on that.
On the town, okay, great. Thank you for your help.
Thank
Well,
you.
we
Have a
can,
good one.
maybe
I
that
think
ride
your
around
supervisor, when he goes on that
township
ride
would be
along,
bad.
is good timing.
Who do you consider a supervisor?
Your township supervisor.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay, all
He'll be
right.
going on a ride along with our foreman, because we
Okay.
just started doing
Then we can
that around
we
your
can
roads.
Discuss
Okay.
And
that.
then they can look at it together.
Okay, thank
Mhm.
you.
So we'll help you as much as we can.
Thank you, Dick.
Tom, you're
Sure.
next, did you want, you're all set?
Well, I'm here today, and thank you for your time to update you on the status of the case I'm handling on behalf of the Road Commission.
Yeah.
This is involving an unfair labor practice charge that AFSCME, the union that represents the majority of their employees, filed months ago.
Yeah,
And I'm happy to report, been able to negotiate a resolution, the settlement of this. And I'm here to inform the board of the settlement and ask you to approve it, if the board is so inclined. And if you do, the union has approved this, the case will be dismissed. We can go into closed session if the board wishes, if they have any detailed questions or want to ask or talk to me in confidence, and we can do that. Or I can just explain the settlement in open session, and it's up to the board. It's pretty simple. The settlement doesn't involve any payment of any monetary claim. It doesn't involve either party saying they did anything wrong or any admission of liability or wrongdoing.
mhm.
It involves the parties all agreeing to a public statement, which I wrote, and
Well, read that to us then.
I'll give you a copy of it.
Give us a copy. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
This is a settlement agreement. AFSCME has already signed it, and it has some legal stuff in it. It basically says if the paragraph that we're talking about is paragraph 3.
3, yeah.
And it says, all parties agree that the use of vulgarity and/or threats of retaliation are not appropriate and have no place in the road commission.
Correct.
The board recognizes the rights of union officers and the representation of their members and shall take no action to interfere with such representation. The union officers recognize that in the representation of their members, they must follow and comply with all road commission policies and the collective bargaining agreements. The parties agree that they will at all times in the future treat each other with respect and dignity. Those are minimum standards that the law and common decency requires. I'm assuming that nobody has any problems with it. With that mutual statement agreed to by the parties, we've all agreed that it's wisest to put this behind us and move on, and that nobody is going to benefit by further litigating this issue. The parties have called the administrative law judge and they've adjourned the hearing, which was scheduled for earlier this week. If this is approved by the board, then the case will be withdrawn and dismissed, and hopefully the parties will all realize that while we might have disputes, we have to handle them professionally and amicably and set a good example to all employees in doing so.
Exactly, right, yeah, you're right.
Are there any questions?
You need a motion to pass this, Tom?
I have a question.
Certainly, sir.
What, I don't understand, I don't know what happened here. What is the other party, or what are the parties? I see
The parties
names.
are the Board of County Road Commissioners and Michigan AFSCME Council 25, the union. Those are the two parties, the union and the road commission, the employer, and the recognized union for the employees that work for the road commission.
What did we,
But his question is, what
is the we in the Clare County Road Commission? I don't know anything about this.
What happened basically factually is there were a couple of events, disputes that took place largely between the union president and one of our commissioners. And there was an altercation, or that's not accurate, there was a verbal disagreement, voices were raised, there were, depending on what perspective you adopt, threats of retaliation or not. Certainly there's a personal and professional dispute that had been brewing a long time between one of our commissioners and the president of the union, and they filed a charge saying that that's an unfair labor practice. This is not a lawsuit, it's a charge under a state law that is held and filed with the Michigan Employment Relations Commission. They assign it to a judge, in this case it was Judge Peltz, and you have a hearing on this and you go through the hearing. We contested that it was a violation of the law or that we did anything wrong, and instead of going ahead with the hearing on this and litigating it, I had been in discussions with the union's attorney for some time saying, you know, this is not something we should be litigating. We all need to treat each other professionally and move on from this. And this was the resolution that we've all agreed to negotiate and some way of settling this case.
And who's the commissioner?
Me.
Oh, okay.
This is a disagreement between the commissioner and me.
Okay.
yeah.
That's the part that was missing. I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, I thought
Well, you
everybody
didn't
was.
know.
No.
We weren't here.
I don't even know what had happened.
Well, you guys weren't here at the time, when it was just the three of us. This
It was a year, it
was
was a
before
year,
you were,
over a year ago.
this was before you guys were appointed, so. But I can understand your question, well.
So the detail of the concern that the employee had, where's that detail? What is the detail of the complaint?
Well, the
I don't see
complaint,
it in here.
it's not. This is
It
just a
doesn't really
settlement.
matter, no.
If you'd like to see the complaint, that's public knowledge, I can tell you all about it or show it to you. Basically, there's two factual allegations in the complaint. One, that during an interview that the board was conducting, Mr. Haskins asked questions of one of the applicants that was inappropriate, or in a way directing the person, if they were hired, to issue discipline on Mr. Holberger. The other was a dispute that took place in the hallway early in the morning when there was a dispute about whether or not they should be in a meeting or they should be in the workplace. And Mr. Haskins and the manager at the time said to Nate, you need to leave and get out of here, and a verbal argument briefly took place between the parties, and there were some inappropriate language potentially used as alleged, and that's it. And they filed a charge, which has been pending. And their Nate Union is basically saying, Mr. Holberger is the president, he's trying to represent his members. He has a right to do that, and Mr. Haskins' actions interfered with that lawful right of him to represent his members. That's the nature legally of what they're complaining. Our defense is, no, that's not true. He wasn't there really representing anybody, and we didn't do anything that would interfere with those rights at all. I wrote this statement saying, look, this just says we acknowledge, yes, you have a right to represent your members. Mr. Haskins' argument was, but you have to do so in compliance with the rules and regulations and the policies. And he was saying that Nate, his position is that Nate didn't have authority to be there, should have asked permission in advance. This is during working hours, and it was inappropriate to have that meeting at that time. And the union is saying we recognize that when we represent our members, we have to follow the rules to do that. Neither party is admitting they did anything wrong or not. Both parties are saying, let's move on from this and treat each other.
Well, it was unfortunate that had to happen, but it's.
That's the whole
because,
9 yards.
Stuff happens, let's just
Stuff
pass
that-
this and get it over with. Is that all
Well,
right?
he had a few questions to ask.
Is it okay to ask questions?
Sure.
Yes, it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can't vote on something I don't have a background on.
Okay, well, I mean, I agree. Get all your questions answered.
Well, that's true, Tim. He needs to, any commissioner needs to know, if they don't know, they need to know.
If the board would
I
go
have
along
no
with this agreement, I do need to have a motion made. Very simple motion. Try to write something in the car real quick. I can read it. I move the Board of Road Commissioners accept the proposed settlement agreement with AFSCME and authorize the board president to sign on its behalf. If somebody wants to make that
I would make a
motion.
motion that we sign for the settlement agreement.
Second.
Discussion, do we have the complaint, is it possible to see the complaint that was issued? You said it's public knowledge, but I don't have that available.
Yes, I have a copy. I can show it to you.
You should have that.
I can provide a copy if you want. Anything, if there's anything that's been filed as public knowledge, absolutely.
I can't vote until I see that.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Herman? And I mean no disrespect. Is there anything wrong with the settlement that you have a problem with?
No, I just like to know the details.
Okay.
And no disrespect, I think that's a fair question.
Absolutely so.
Do we have a third on this motion?
Well, there's a motion, a second, then you'd have debate, and then you'd have a vote.
Well, I made the motion, so.
it was seconded, wasn't
Yeah.
If you have any discussion that you wish to have, then there should be a roll call vote.
What was that?
If there's any further discussion that the board members have, now would be the time to do it, and then there should be a roll call vote on the motion that's been made and seconded.
Do
So,
everybody understand?
Do you have any more discussion?
I'm still waiting for a copy of it. I thought you were going to get it.
oh, you want to see it right now?
Well, I can understand.
You know, the settlement, I mean, this is for the settlement discusses, it's referenced that the entire board of commission is in violation of something, is the way I interpret that. That's the short answer.
Well,
Settlement
that's,
doesn't say that at all.
that's not right, no.
Settlement doesn't say in any way, shape, or form that the board has done anything wrong, is acknowledging any liability or wrongdoing.
We had one board member.
Neither, nor does it say anything about AFSCME doing anything like that. This is just a simple settlement that says we're gonna withdraw this complaint and move on from
Rather
this
than get
issue.
into, there's no reason to get into any discussions. I mean, I can understand you want to know who and what, that's okay. But,
This is the only copy I
I
have
think we
with
should
me.
put this aside and
That
not
was
get
the
into.
charge that was filed with work. Do you
Not
want to
get
see the
into
answer to
any,
the charge?
Has everybody else seen this? Anybody seen this?
I have,
Karen?
I have.
I don't work Bill.
yeah, you have.
I'm assuming he hasn't, because I haven't.
And you're entitled to that, that's the truth.
We should have gone into closed session if there were, I didn't
Well-
understand that there were questions. I didn't realize that there was a commissioner that wasn't familiar with this case. I apologize for
Well,
this.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Tom.
Bill and Merle have just recently been,
I did not, I was not aware that they were
Yeah,
not.
well, that's true, you should have been, you know, somebody should have made you aware of it. Because what's right is right, you know.
Would you like to see the answer that the road commission filed in response to that? I have that also.
Yeah, I would, actually. Is there a reason this has to be done today?
Yes, because the judge's got this case on hold and wants to know whether it's gonna be settled.
Once it's settled, if we can, yeah.
I'm not gonna try to absorb all that information right now. It's too much information. I gotta go over there. So you're looking for that, how many?
We didn't file an answer, sir. We filed a proof of service, but there was no answer filed in this case.
Okay.
I think they're all doing it.
yeah.
People are busy.
Mhm.
So there was no other document, the document you were looking for?
The only other documents filed with the court would have been the firm's appearance and proof of service.
The gist of it.
Is it safe to assume that other employees are aware of this situation, most or all? of
All the
whatever
union
happened?
employees are, yes, yes. Nate's seen to that, right? I mean, the union employees know. They got the letter, didn't they?
I mean, you have.
Your president did, Sean did, yeah, because he's on there, Sean Berger.
Sean Berger.
Mhm.
The union has already signed this. I've signed copies.
Mhm.
They've signed it. Mr. Neitzel signed it. Mr. Holberg signed it. They've already signed this.
That's what I thought they did, yeah.
I have a copy of that if you'd like to see.
But I guess I'm just a little frustrated that you're asking me to make a pretty important decision, it sounds like, where we've had a situation.
No, sir, I'm not asking you to make any decision. I'm not asking you to make any decision.
Yeah, I guess from that perspective, I'd like to know a little bit more about it, and look at the documents, all the documents.
You have them in front of you, sir. What would
This
you
is
like?
everything, this is the complaint and everything?
Yes, sir.
It should be there.
And who filed the complaint, Nate?
No, the complaint was filed by the union. not the-
Union attorney.
Hillary Lawler is the union attorney and filed the complaint.
Yeah.
So if we get this, we pass this motion or vote on this today, what happens down the road?
It's a done deal.
This is over with. The case will be dismissed.
If you know,
If any behavioral issues comes up with any, we've got a precedent here.
No, there's no precedent being set. Doesn't set any precedent. There's no statement about wrongdoing or liability. doesn't do any of those things, doesn't affect anything that'll happen in the future.
No.
It's just a simple public statement that the law requires that we'll all behave properly. And that we
Rather
will.
than to carry it any further, right?
If you want to litigate this case and pay me a lot of money to try the case and write a brief, I'm happy to do it.
I
I
just
can't for
wanna
the
be-
life of me understand why there's any real debate about treating people with respect and dignity. If anybody's got a
Exactly.
problem with that, tell me that, because I don't
What
understand.
it sounds like. Okay,
Exactly.
we got a motion on the floor.
Is all discussion done? So I'll do a roll call vote, and I'll start with Dick. Just everybody say yay or nay. Dick?
Yay.
Tim?
Yay.
Bill? Or, I'm sorry, wait, Karen?
Yes.
Bill?
Yep.
Merle?
Yep. As in yay?
That's fine.
Yeah.
So the motion is passed.
Thank you very much.
I just had a question because we have a code of conduct in our road commissioner's manual.
Yes.
And I'm gonna adhere to that as much as I can. I just don't know how this happened, that's why.
Again, it was a brief argument that lasted a few seconds. It didn't escalate into anything further than that. Thank you, sir. Both parties grew up quick and realized this isn't what to do. They
Done
both
deal.
walked away. It was a,
Thank you.
I think the union's concern was, look, I have to be able to represent my members. And Mr. Haskins' concerns were, yes, but you have to follow the rules when you do that. I think there's some validity, in my personal opinion, to both sides' perspectives. And in my personal opinion, there's probably blame that can be put on both sides. This isn't the way, we don't need to raise our voices. I think everybody agrees with that. And there are certain things that the law just isn't designed to really address. And some personal and political disputes, you know, this wasn't gonna, both sides, I believe, entered into this, I hope, because paying the lawyers to continue to fight over this isn't gonna do anybody any good.
No, I
It's
agree.
not gonna help anybody from any perspective, and I applaud Nate and the union for recognizing that. And I just have been trying to say, hey, let's interject some common sense and maybe we can all learn from
Well,
this.
common sense is the key, and I think you've done a nice job.
Yeah.
Well, and I wanna commend Ms. Lauber and Nate and the union. I mean, they was a bit surprised. I've been talking for a long time about resolving this, and they stepped up to the plate and they agreed to this, and I appreciate their efforts to be fair, and I think they want to move on from this.
I think it's fair, and it's not worth getting, it's not worth
Thank you for
Thank you,
your time.
Tom.
carrying it on any
And
longer.
again, I
Thank you,
apologize, I
Tom.
was not aware that you had
That's
no
fine.
familiarity with this, or you, Mr. Simpson.
Well, that's right, because they weren't here at the time.
Can I ask you to just sign this? with
Yeah.
me? If it's all
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
And thank you for whatever role you may have had in this, at least resolving it. And I'll take care of it with you as attorney, and this will be.
Yes, sir. There you
Thank
go.
you very much. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, sir.
Yep, thanks for your time.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, third,
Yep,
fourth.
I'll adjourn too.
Can I get both of your email addresses, please?
I want to still make it as an eye appointment.
I have a question for you, Kimberly, before we get
Just
out of
1 second.
We can all see.
How come we all grunt when we get up? What's
I